Chad Gable and Otis joined us, and yes, Chad Gable with a suit looks amazing. Right off the cover of GQ.
Yep.
And then Otis with first of all, I love it.
Greatest.
It's really amazing
Just came
because
from the pool, guys.
it's Hawaiian, and yet you have Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger,
Leatherface, Michael Myers. I mean, this is
So
this is quite a garment.
I needed something fast to get in and out of. But if you want to have the same attire, just type in Amazon Hawaii and Freddy, and you'll get the same combo. The 4XL section is where I prefer. But yes, style profile, baby, as the man Ric Flair said.
And really quick, and Sam, I know you would appreciate this as well. Me being older, obviously, growing up on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And
I mean, so did I.
Seeing the first ever Nightmare on Elm Street in the theater.
Oh, that was awesome, dude.
And then same thing with the Friday the 13th movies.
Whew, that's very old.
Just like this business as well. For a long time, it wasn't the mainstream. For a long time, it didn't get the mainstream attention, and now it does. Same thing with horror movies. Because I never thought there would be a day where Leatherface would be on clothing like the one that you're
video game.
Yes,
it's gonna be a video game coming up here. So no, I've always felt that too. Like, and again on IG, it's like funny because when you're like my whole what do you call it? The feed, the default feed is all horror. And it's all wrestling, and I feel it's the same kind of fans, maybe the same kind of fans as rock and roll or country, because every time I go to a Jelly Roll concert, I'm at home, baby. So it's basically it goes hand in hand. And again, but I feel like that's like the grit we went through. You know what I mean? Like the guys who went before us, putting their dues in all that, and then now it's like people in the horror industry, see Jamie Lee Curtis. She is the lady from Halloween. That's who she is.
Yes, and there was probably a point in her career where she didn't acknowledge it as much as she does now, because people look back at that John Carpenter movie as a masterpiece. So let me ask you,
was she on Terror Train too?
She wasn't.
So
Prom night. Was she?
Prom night. She was.
She's in prom night.
She's getting a run after that, brother. They're like, this babe.
So let me ask you this, and I apologize, Chad.
We're getting nasty.
No apologies.
In your opinion, and I've asked this question to Sam on the show before, your opinion, the greatest horror movie of all time.
I can only go from experience, but what really shocked me will always be Pet Sematary, because I mean, dude, it just has so much downfalls, and it just keeps getting darker. We're going okay, how the hell does this guy have a chance? If you don't know the movie, they move into this neighborhood. They have a badass neighbor. I forgot his real name. He's from the Munsters.
Fred.
Badass brother right there. There's a pet cemetery, and they bury the pets. This highway is not safe for pets or children. They lose their son, but the power from the Wendigo burial ground takes over Lewis. And if you bury him at this burial ground, they come back sour. They come back very evil. And I remember watching that 5-year-old, because I had 2 older siblings. My mom was like, I don't give a shit what he watches. Sorry if I swear. And I'm feeling busted open here. And I just was like, I was so scared of the sister. I was so scared of the power. I was so scared of the kid. The kid was adorable. Now he's got that sharp gimmick that slices, the New Jack gimmick. The slicer. So to me, that was the most moving. And still when I watch it, I go, what? And I just finished the book, and it's just insane how it's just Stephen King's just a master.
And again, I'm sorry, Chad. and real quick. But 2 things that you just brought up that definitely hit the nail on the head. Number one, it's probably a movie adaptation the closest to the book of any other Stephen King novel. It's almost identical to the novel. And then the sister, again, subplot in this, without a doubt, the scariest scene in that movie is with the sister.
Dude, I couldn't pee. It was the hallway to my bathroom was really short, and I would just imagine, you're a little kid, you're like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, but it's dark. And I would picture her in the corner every time of that hallway going, never again, never again. And I'm just holding my piss going, can I just pee? Good God, lady. Jesus. Sorry, Lord.
Chad, with the amount of time that you spend around Otis, have you fallen into any of?
every day.
Have
Yeah.
you gotten into horror movies?
So
or-
the thing is, like when I was a kid or younger, I was pretty obsessed with it too. And then I kind of fell out of it. But now being back with him, like
Well, the movies are
I'm-
coming, you know.
it's all I watch now. Hotel room all night. That's what I watch. My wife just hates me now because at home I don't even browse Netflix anymore. I just browse Shutter. Like that's
Same.
what I'm looking for. But
Shit.
I'm into it now too, big time. He gives me recommendations all the time. And like you're hearing this. This is what I hear on because we watch horror movies on car rides every night. 3
Yeah.
hours, 4 hours. It's just what movies we watch in the night. And it's just these kind of thoughts that come out of his head every night. Demented stuff.
Yeah, we had Damien in our car, and he thought we were kidding. We were like, "Yeah, tonight's entertainment's going to be the guys who are driving is Leprechaun 3
Leprechaun
in
3.
Vegas." And he goes, with this deep voice, he's like, gets in the car. We give him the front seat, and he's front and center, and he's like, "Oh, we're really doing this." I know, join the car, brother.
The whole thing.
But honestly, too, like I think, too, is like all the movies coming out because I remember when Halloween Kills came out, we were going to LA. And we were like, we're gonna make this damn movie or what? It was like 8:10. We landed 6 something. And thank God for the expressway because Gable's face was like, we're making this movie, dude. We're not waiting until we get back home. And yeah, what the parents would be mad because we said we watched it back at home. So we went maybe 89, 90 on this expressway to get to this theater. We get there. And I swear it was just like the two giddiest kids. And then we're just sitting there just like, we even forgot to get water. We're just like, oh, I got popcorn in the floor here. And then the person, I swear in someone's seat, every time someone walked in, they're like, this is my seat. I said, get out of here, jackass. First of all, don't come in 20 minutes late for a movie. Douche.
I think I've got the same thing going on. And my wife hates all these horror movies.
Yeah.
And so like, I even have to be careful of what I'm watching because she'll go to bed and then she'll walk downstairs and it's just the wrong scene.
Oh, yeah.
What is wrong with you? So the other night, I don't know if you've seen this movie yet, but the other night we put the kids to bed and sometimes she falls asleep as she's putting the kids to bed. I go, okay, here we go. And I'm looking at what time it is. I start checking movie times. I realize there's a 10 o'clock screening of Talk to Me that I can get out of the house right now and get to. And I did it. Have we seen Talk to Me yet?
Not yet. Bronson Reed is like telling me to go see it.
Dude, you're gonna love it.
I've heard the buzz.
It's so good.
Okay.
It's so good.
That's the hander, right?
Yeah. You hold a hand and you get to talk to zombies or whatever. It's great. It's great.
But Sam, to your point, you just made me remember something, and I think I might have told you this, is that you're right. There's certain movies that I'm not going to watch in front of my wife.
Yeah.
And I don't even want her to know that I watch these movies, you know? And it was late and I thought I was safe and I was watching I Spit on Your Grave.
No.
My wife walks in. I don't think she's ever looked at me the same way again after watching
the context. That
I know. I showed my wife a couple scenes from. He put me on Terrifier too. Like,
whoa, it's the
and I
best.
showed my wife a couple scenes, and she's looking at me like, "What are we doing?"
Who are you?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and the I gotta say this story. So Dazzle's like, he's like, oh, there's this Pearl movie coming. Have you seen it? And I go, no, but there's a prequel. Why don't we just go for this beautiful connection flight from Seattle?
Yeah.
Why not to Seattle to Canada? Let's just download and rent it, and we'll watch it on our iPad in front of everybody in the plane. There's not one scene there that's awkward. And I'm just like, we're both like, all right, here we go. And she goes, what do you want? I go, I'll take a bourbon with 1 cube, please. All right, here we go. Play it. And I'm just every time I swear there's a sex scene or something carnage going on, she would be like, "Would you like more sunships?" Just quit looking at it like
the whole plane ride watching.
Somebody walked by to go to the bathroom and look at it,
bro.
Yeah. You got what's that brother's name? Oh, he's the rapper. He's just walking around bare ass, and the guy's just like walking to the bathroom going, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Yeah, brother, this is a."
Kid Cudi's in it. Is that
Kid
Cudi's in it?
That's what he's I'm brother in here, and I'm just like, Jesus God.
If I could, and I don't want to ruin the flow here. If I could ask a wrestling question,
I can't do a hold.
how incredible is the progress? Like, you know, all storylines aside, just as a performer, Maxine Dupri, just like everything, and the fans responding to everything, and her just really seamlessly fitting into this act that you guys had crafted. It's been incredible.
I mean, we're seeing something that I feel like I'm racking my brain trying to see what other times in history, like, or how many this has happened in our business where someone's literally learning on the job. Like, it's not, you said storylines aside, because it's not. I mean, she's at TV every week working on arm drags and stuff and learning how to do an arm drag or a suplex. There's people coaching her and like me included. And like, you're watching it happen. And I think that's what was the thing that connected with people is like, they got that. This is real. This is organic. We're watching this girl kind of be a goof because like when she had to start transitioning to the wrestling stuff, she went from being this like immaculate looking model that was just like perfect in every way to being like, oh no, physically, she doesn't have all the tools that all these other girls have or that the wrestlers have. She does like stumble once in a while and she's not perfect in every way. And I think when people finally saw that aspect of her, they're like, I can get on board with that.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I saw a moment on when I think we was giving her the Letterman jacket when she graduated, and in my mind as a little girl, like seeing her, she is like the epitome of cool. Like she just looks gorgeous, you know, the way she walks and handles herself. But I like was going to put the Letterman jacket on her, and she like had the goofiest look on her. You look like, we watched it back together. I'm like, you look like such a dork in that moment. But that's what people latched onto. They're like, okay, I love that she's willing to like be vulnerable and that we can get on board with that.
We're on the journey with her, and it's a real journey.
Yeah. It didn't seem really like when we did the model stuff backstage, even though how fun it was like that wasn't really her. You know what I mean? It was just like, nah, she's really, but again, really cool. And her family came to her first match on Monday, so I met the whole family, broke them in. You know what I mean? And so yeah,
I mean, it's got to be nice for you though, Otis, because there is something about this fan base that just loves seeing you with a beautiful woman.
Yeah,
whether it's Maxine, whether it was Mandy, it's like that. That's the formula, right?
Well,
it works.
It goes back to the slapstick comedies, you know, like the usually like the fat guy or the nerd gets the girl, basically, you know. And it's like, then I do love those comedies, by the way. But it's like, yeah, you know, started with Mandy, you know what I mean? It was fun there, and now with Maxine. So I basically just love blonde babes. Yeah,
that's not blonde, people can get behind.
Blonde babes are thick and heavy chested, baby. I don't care. Give me the cute face.
Yeah. See, this is the problem talking to you, Otis, because we started the conversation talking about horror movies. And now you're going to put me on a road of 80s teen comedy.
Yeah,
that would be.
This is all I saw. My parents and siblings are ruthless. Like, people said Chucky, I'm like, yeah, Child's Play. They go, no, Rugrats. I'm like, I've never seen it.
For both of you, for you, Chad, and for you, Otis, you know, being a part of this WWE universe, and obviously things change, but riding that roller coaster and understanding that, you know, this is a crazy ride and you never know where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
It's got to be a fun one, and but it's got to be a little bit anxiety ridden as well, right?
And you touched on something that like I think was probably the biggest learning lesson I've ever had with the whole business is like, you got to learn to accept the lows and like get through it. It's all a part of what we do for most of us, you know, maybe not for everybody, but man, I hit some very, very low, deep low points where I'm like almost questioning if this is for me. And it isn't until you come out the other side of that and you get these like peaks then on the other side with guys like him, and we have our moments and these little runs where you're like, no, I am meant for this. And like, it's working and they do connect with us. And you just have to accept that that's what this business is in every way. And it's not just like that personally, but on other levels too. Like with tag team wrestling, we've gotten this question a lot lately too. It's like tag team wrestling. We saw it at WrestleMania this year. It peaked like in a main event of WrestleMania. Finally, you get this awesome moment. And then like, I'm sure before too long, you're going to see tag team wrestling take a dip again, and then it'll come back up. So I think also from a fan's perspective, maybe it helps if they realize that like, that's the nature of this business. Like, you're not going to get everything all the time at a peak. You got to accept that. Like sometimes you get this, sometimes you get the entertainment aspect, sometimes you get the killer matches. But that's what we do. That's why WWE is as good as in the world as anybody at what we do, I think.
When did you start like getting into the like entertainment part of this? Because I feel like even in NXT,
yeah,
like something clicked as an NXT fan even back then. It was like, yeah, this is a great tag team, right? Yeah. But when you started just doing weird puns in the locker room, it was like all of a sudden it went to this other level where it's like, I love this act, and I feel like it's for you, it's progressed from that point.
and it's almost like you said, like a roller coaster thing. Cause I started with that in NXT. And if anybody had access to like the original promos I was doing in NXT in like 2013, 14, very early on, it was just that goofy crap. Cause I was like, man, I got nothing else. I'm just going to do this stuff. And it kind of worked. And that's what they ended up putting on like NXT TV.
Yeah.
But then something happened, and this is partially my own fault. Like I'll admit that fully. It's like when I got to the main roster, I think I just started taking myself too seriously and like thinking, oh, this is another level. I got to be like Mr. Serious professional wrestler here. And then like, I'm a few years into that. I'm going, this ain't working. Like nobody's buying this crap. You can't be a badass like on a roster with Brock Lesnar on it. You know what I mean? Like how big of a badass are you going to be? So I had to like put the kibosh on that and go, let's just have some fun here, man. And I got luckily paired up with like my best friend in the world at the time.
He's a miserable guy over here
Standing next to this guy. It's like, it's very easy to like let loose and be vulnerable. And once we got vulnerable, man, things just took
I
off.
do love a good Brock conversation. It's just like, how you doing? Doing great. And I'll say something funny and he either sells it or he does not. And he walks away and I'm going,
Can be very
I think,
comfortable.
but I'll say, I think he's laughing inside.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Well, I'll ask the same question to you, Otis, because that roller coaster ride, you've been a part of that as well, where, we were thinking, hey, maybe he can cash in and become the next world heavyweight. Yes, like
that era, like
yes.
people forget.
Yeah,
It was very feasible in that moment.
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then just riding that roller coaster. Was it anxiety ridden for you, or you were like, hey, I know that these ebbs and flows are going to happen?
I came in bits and pieces there because again, that was a crazy day in itself because it was like, what could we shoot the short amount of time? And it's at the headquarters. So when we found out, I was kind of like, really? I'm a good guy. And then I remember Corbin going, yeah, you're a good guy. And I go, well, good guys can win sometime, pal. All right. They'll keep you cool ball with tattoos, Corbs. Love you, Corbs. But no, like it just kind of, to say, talk to Bruce, talk to this, and kind of get the, bits and pieces there. There's a lot of like Putski kind of a vibe there. And the stomps on the stage is very tricky. And I remember Vince was very specific on stomp every step. And I remember it was a little slick on those ramps a couple of times there. So if you watch back of those Thunderdome days, if you're into it, man, I'm stomping and all of a sudden, boop, slip for Jey Uso. Sorry about that, buddy. But no, and then again, it ended up happening the way it did. And it was kind of weird to end it with like Tucker hitting me over the head with the briefcase. Cause again, like we didn't really do anything with that. And I kind of didn't want to work Tucker. Cause again, like we asked this question out for media, who's your favorite to tag with? I really couldn't answer it because again, it's two different kind of people, two different kind of loves. Well, actually the same love, but you know what I mean? It's like, but it's just like, for me, it's like, that's like how it is, man. And this is something where it's like, okay, that was taken away. Let's just keep going the next one. And then frankly, that was taken away. Miz took the briefcase away, became the champion. I lose the girl, the babe, the world champion, bikini model. Oh, yeah. And eventually Jazz comes in with this Alpha Academy. So, things are looking up for the Academy and for Otis, I think.
I love both the work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much for taking time with us during this really busy day. And
Wait, what did you say? Did you thank them properly?
yes. Yeah.
How do you?
Thank you.